knows what's next. SHTF News!
And now, the news.
Stand by. In 3, 2, 1.
And here we are. Welcome to SHTF News with your host Andy for the SHTF News. Tonight, on the 6th of November, spreading over to the 7th of November, not that long in advance, 2021. So let's have a look and see what we've got in store tonight. We'll just like to fly through the SHTF News and see if there's anything out there that's of immediate danger to us. So we'll be starting off with the top stories before we get into the disaster maps. So top stories today, we've got just a few things from BBC News. Of course, most people are hearing about the investigation of Texas Festival crowd surge. Looks like more than 8 people have died already. At least 8 people have died. And victims between the ages of 14 and 27. So bad news. Thoughts and prayers going out to those involved in that and families of those involved. So never good. So infrastructure bill from Biden. This is all to do with the COP26 meeting, which they're having, excuse me. So you're talking about $1 trillion. $1 trillion, a landmark infrastructure spending package. And yeah, that's a reasonably large amount of money. $1 trillion. It's not even worth talking about. I mean, when you're already with the debt clock the way it is, what's another $1 trillion between friends, eh? So Sierra Leone got all sorts of stuff kicking off there again. Scores dead after Freetown oil tanker collision. And 98 people have died. Massive explosion. Wow, 98 people in one go. Bad news. So Chinese man convicted for stealing aviation trade secrets. There's an awful lot of information warfare and things like that with military secrets being leaked backwards and forwards at the moment. That's usually an indication of some sort of building underlying conflict rocking around. Military's getting prepared for something, obviously. And we've got all the stuff kicking off between Taiwan and China, which is always scary stuff. I think we're already only about 2 minutes to midnight on the doomsday clock, so we don't want to see that getting any closer. But I think it's inevitable with Thucydides' trap, as I've mentioned before, where you have an existing superpower, United States, being challenged by an up-and-coming superpower, China. It's kind of typically ends up in conflict, and we're seeing a lot of de-Sinicization going on around the world of countries that are basically detaching themselves from their reliance on China's imports, exports, energy, food, and things like this. And China's already shutting down their exports of most of their food, and they've already warned their own residents in China to start stockpiling food for a year. So let's take some of Chinese CCP's advice for ourselves, shall we? Because what happens there, it's a global economy and global system we live in now. So Greta Thunberg, we don't care. How dare you? 8 people died again. I had a look through Twitter. Nothing amazing going on. So I thought let's not dwell on it too much. So that was the top stories for today. So let's move on to the disaster maps and see what we've got in store there. Have a quick look around. Looks like we've got 65 active hazards. That's not looking too severe. I did have a brief look. Doesn't look like there's anything too epic. We've got something out here at the Atlantic. It's miles away from anyone, so we ain't got to worry about that for a while. Of course, we've got the ongoing volcano eruption coming from La Palma there in Canary Islands, so we're keeping our eye on that. I did an update last week, Thursday. We had a midweek SHTF news, breaking news, and I covered La Palma there. So I'll probably put a card up the top there, and then you can watch that afterwards and catch up with that. So yeah, and again, a couple of earthquakes. There's a 6.0 up here in Indonesia by the looks of it. And usually it travels around the ring of fire as you get one popping off in order. We can see here on the USGS map where we've got 38 earthquakes. That's about average. Although do bear in mind that's not including any of the earthquakes that are going on in La Palma. Look, because let's have a look here today. These are the earthquakes just in La Palma. Let's go 3+ earthquakes, magnitude 3.0. And let's have a look how many. So it looks like 13 quakes between 3 and 4. 18 quakes. So it looks like there's fewer than it was on Thursday when we looked at it, but there's still quite a few on there that obviously have been censored and not shown at all anywhere on the USGS earthquake map. So if you're looking on the earthquake map, bear in mind they seem to be not showing anything going on in La Palma, which I always find somewhat suspicious. So yeah, this is the earthquake map for around the world. This is the last, let's do the last 24 hours, 3+. As we can see, we got quite a few rocking there, but I don't think there's anything apart from that 6.0 to be worried about. And like I say, that'll start travelling around the Ring of Fire typically. So that's about what we've got going on for the disaster map and stuff. Let's have a quick look at the windy map and see what's going on with the air quality there over La Palma. Let's stick a pin in and see what we got. 104 milligram per square meter. Like I said before, about 72 is a good high limit. So anything above that, you know, you could start to see some formation of things like, you know, sulfuric acid, acid rain and things like that, right? This is the sulfur SO2 content. So yeah, again, you can see here, as I mentioned on Thursday, where you've got these sort of wind directions going up this way, then it starts going this way and it just blowing it everywhere. So it's important to keep your eye on the wind map there on windy, and just check in on the SO2 for the air quality, and you'll be able to check yourself as to where it's flowing over if you're here in Europe or Northern Africa there, yeah? So bear that in mind. So let's pop back to see what's up next. Looks like we're up to the space weather. We've had quite a lot of activity on that, haven't we? So, you know, this is a lot of what we were talking about on the Thursday. Breaking news. And we were referring to what was hitting us back then with these red bars on the K4 index there, KP index. And you can see on this area here, still haven't got my mouse highlighter sorted out. But you see the purple bars here, and again, purple comes after red, so we were getting hit pretty bad. And that was kind of what we went over on the Thursday. And as I mentioned, even those in Canada would be seeing the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis. And sure enough, 2 days after I said that, this is what was uploaded from people who saw it that night. So yeah, I would have loved to have seen that. So you know, let me know in the comments below if you're seeing this afterwards, or in the chat if you managed to see them that night. I did the report in the morning for when people woke up, sort of late morning, afternoon. And so by then it was already too late, of course. But yeah, so it's good to check in there. But as you can see, we've not got much popping off from the sun at this point. We've not got anything going into even a C class that's worth talking about, to be honest. We don't got to worry about C class flares. And when we look on the overall view here, there's no warnings at all. Up the top, it's all green. So it's all good. And main reason for that is the active sunspots on the sun. They're just not Earth facing like they were, but we do have a coronal hole stream here, this dark region here, which is somewhat Earth facing, and that can cause all sorts of interference, and that's where we can see some tectonic plate activity and some volcanization. So what we would usually like to do is to check in on the La Palma live cam, so we can check out and see what's going on there live. And let's just bring it up here for you. Boom, and you can probably hear that already, can you? No, let's turn the sound on for you. It's like it's breathing. And these are like house-sized boulders being thrown in the air, right? Even the small ones are like car-sized boulders being tossed in the air. God knows how many feet high. So yeah, that's not going anywhere. Looks like it's there for the duration. But yeah, it's just interesting when you watch that from the live cam and you just see it's like the noise it makes, and it's sort of like breathing. It's like it's alive, yeah. So yeah, let's move back into the agenda, and we're onto the cyberspace now. So we see what's going on in the cyber world and see what kind of attacks we can expect. Let's have a look. It's not looking too bad. It's an average day. Look, so we've got about 3 billion attacks in the last 24 hours, of the target being the United States. Second to that, just under 3 billion attacks in the last 24 hours is United Kingdom. And the main origins from the attacks is the United States top, followed by Austria and France third, making up about 350,000 of those attacks. So yeah, it's a pretty average day. And I checked in on the Downdetector as well to see if there were any services or servers down. And it looks like everything's all right, actually. A few things earlier on that were tripping up, but it looks like they're all back online now. And And anyone playing Roblox shouldn't be playing Roblox. They should be watching the Ultimate Live show anyway, shouldn't they? So serves you right. And so yeah, and then we got the finishing up with the economics. We'll see what's going on with cryptos today. Again, we've been hovering around this 60,000 mark with a Bitcoin breaking through to all-time highs. And I'd say it's more green than red. And looks like Shiba meme coin's taken another hit and down another 10%. So that's not looking good. And looking on the movers and shakers and the coin checkup here, you know, most of the main top 10 coins look like they're on the increase. But as I said last week, more importantly, we want to be looking at see what the market cap's up to. And again, I'll see here it says 2.7 trillion, 2.72 trillion. If I refresh that, 2.725 trillion. So for the last 10 minutes, there's more and more money coming into the market here as it's increasing. And we've got actually a Bitcoin question, sort of cryptocurrency in the Truth or Trivia Red Pill Truther quiz tonight. So those who know their stuff in cryptos, see how you get on tonight in the Truth or Trivia segment. So yeah, look at the crypto news here. Doesn't look again like there's an awful lot going on. The weekends are usually pretty sparse, to be honest. Most of the activity happens on a Monday, so maybe I'll come in with a midweek report and we'll see what's going on with the cryptos then. But yeah, it's all looking quite stable. There's no negative news regarding cryptos out there particularly, and there's not really any great news, so we're just going to see that hover about and see if it can push its way through to the all-time new highs and, you know, see where we end up. So yeah, that covers the economic side. So yeah, thank you very much everybody, and that wraps up the SHTF news for the 6th of November 2021, and I hope that's been informative and caught you up to date with all the things to worry about and not worry about today.